Good morning. How are you? Wow, this weather is kind of crazy, isn't it? Beautiful Easter Sunday, then a beautiful Monday, and then pouring down rain Tuesday, and kind of gray out there today too. So hopefully it'll shape up one of these days and spring will actually be sprung or something like that. Anyway, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and chill out for a little bit because we have a great show planned for you today. Life is so crazy busy. I totally get it. It is very, very stressful for working moms and dads and stay-at-home moms too and dads. It's just busy, 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 busy. So today's show is all about trying to make your life a little bit less stressful, and we have a whole bunch of great ideas. Yes, we're going to head to the spa. Actually, a spa you may not know about. It's about an hour and a half from here, and I had never heard of it. And let me tell you, when I checked in, I didn't want to leave. Absolutely beautiful and very, very unique. This spa is different than any other spa I've ever been to before, and a really, really interesting place, and I can hardly wait to go back there. So we'll check it out, show you why it's so special. If a trip to the spa is a little bit over your budget, I get it. It can be expensive. We're going to show you how to create kind of like a spa-like atmosphere at home with some really neat homemade products. And we're also going to cook up a storm with some great stress-free recipes. So got a little bit of that leftover ham in the refrigerator from Easter. I love ham on Easter the first day, and then maybe the ham sandwiches the next day, and maybe scalloped ham and potatoes. And then toward this time of the week, you're pretty much hammed out, and you need to use up that ham because it'll go bad on you. So I've got the perfect recipe. I'm going to show you how to make a big batch of split pea and ham soup. You can do the whole thing right in your slow cooker, my new BFF. Love it. And the nice thing about it is if you're not in the mood for ham right now, this soup freezes wonderfully. Although I have to be honest, I haven't had split pea soup in a long time, so I am craving it. Bring it on. We were just talking about that yesterday. Was it you, Deb, or was it Ann who said you love split pea soup?
I love pea soup.
And Ann too. Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't make very often, and then when you do, you're like, why don't I make this more often? Also dirt cheap to make. So sip a coffee and I better get to work. I'm all excited about the royal wedding, and I actually was talking to my daughter Ireland. I'm like, we gotta watch. I was thinking it was on Saturday though. It's on Friday morning. But anyway, she's like, who's getting married? What? And I, showed her a picture, and she's like, oh, those two. Yeah, I've seen them, on magazines and things like that. She's like, I'm really not that into it, Mom. But I said, but here's the deal. It's tradition, because my grandmother, my mom, my sister, and a few neighbors got up at the crack of dawn. What was it? 30 years ago or something like that, to watch the first wedding with Princess Diana and Prince Charles. And I'll never forget it. We put on a full-on spread with, our brunch, and it was like in the middle of the night, and it was just memories. So I was trying to talk to Ireland. I'm like, it's memories. So anyway, coming up this week, very exciting. All right, enough talk. I got to get to this slow cooker split pea and ham soup. So let's talk a little bit about the ham that we're using. First of all, if you've going to do a ham, you've got leftover Easter ham, you can chunk it up like we have here. Basically, we need about a couple of cups for this recipe. And so it's kind of like a combination. Whatever you have is going to work, is basically what I'm trying to say. We got these great smoked ham shanks that I just picked up at Festival. Very, very inexpensive. So even if you don't have leftover ham, these are perfect to use. One or two of those, it's going to give this soup so much flavor. So it's we're going to use a combination. I'm going to use some ham shank and a couple of cups of leftover ham, but just use what you have. It's all going to be great. You don't have to run out and buy a whole ham, is basically what I'm trying to say. So I've got one yellow onion that I've diced up. I've got about a cup of diced up carrot. I'm going to do about 4 stalks of celery. My mom always did the whole celery, onion, and carrot in her soups, and I still do it to this day. It just gives it so much flavor. And we don't have to really finely dice these vegetables because it's going to be in a slow cooker all day long, and just smells so good when you're cooking soup. Okay, well, I'm dicing the celery. I got a couple of things to talk about. First of all, next book club meeting is coming up. Have you gone and got the book yet? Do it. It is fabulous. Deb read it. You gave it 2 thumbs up.
One of the best books I've read in a long time.
So I'm really excited. I'm finishing another book in between, so I've still got just a chapter of that left, but I'm dying to dive into this book. I'm going to do it this weekend. It's called My Name is Mary Sutter, and we're meeting at the book club coming up in a couple of weeks on Wednesday, May 11th, 5:30. You can get the book. They've got plenty of copies at the Reader's Loft, and read along with us. Come to book club. It is a hoot, just so much fun. we all talk and chat about the book and other stuff, and Virginia and the folks there put out a great spread, wine and snacks and hors d'oeuvre type things. And the book, by the way, is historical fiction, which is one of my favorites. What it is, it's about a woman who is growing up in the Civil War era, and she wants to be a doctor. And of course, back then, that just didn't happen. So it's all about that. And Deb says it's great, and she couldn't put it down. So I'm excited about it. All right, so I'm going to just start throwing my veggies. My 4 stalks of celery, and this goes right in my slow cooker. Don't have to saute anything up. It's just all going to get in here. My onion, my carrots. The other thing I wanted to mention is our big night out. Our first big night out sold out, so we added another date. So this is going to be a fun night. Do you need a big night out? I know I do. So we're headed to a great restaurant. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about this place. It's in Shawano, beautiful place, and it's called, right across from the lake, great view, the Cotton Patch. So please come join us Thursday, May 19th. It is going to be wonderful. The chef came on the show and cooked up all this great stuff that they're going to be serving. It's several courses. It starts out with a wonderful soup with scallop in it, lobster and shrimp crepes with a wonderful sauce, a great salad. The main course is a beef Wellington with potatoes and asparagus, and then an amazing dessert, all paired with wine. So that's the special thing about this, is these restaurants go all out and do an amazing menu, and then they pair them with wines, all at a great price, just $48 per person. So I think this one's going to book up very, very quickly. Deb and I will be there. Is Sean going to be coming?
He's planning on it.
Our driver?
He's
going to
be our driver.
Wonderful. That's Deb's sweet husband. So call today for reservations, 715-745-4777. Might want to wait a couple hours until they open up. But please call and join us. It's so much fun. If you've never been before, you need to come. And if you've been before, you know how much fun it is. So come again. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about these peas. This is just this happens to be a big old bag. This soup is so inexpensive to make, of dried peas. This is a 32-ounce bag. We're just going to use half of it because these peas really tend to multiply. So I'm just gonna, I always like to rinse them off just to make sure that there's no pebbles or anything else in there. And make sure you have a tiny enough strainer or else they'll fall right through. So there you go, in go our peas. Carrots, onion, celery, peas. We need some garlic, about 3 cloves of garlic. I figured the weather's been so pea soupy, we might as well make pea soup, right? Ha ha ha, Ann laughed at my joke. It has been. Yesterday I didn't even want to leave the house. I was out, every time I went out, I guess I need to invest in an umbrella. But I would just be drenched. And my hair was all wet and I felt like a duck. So in goes our garlic. It smells so good. I'm using fresh garlic. Garlic powder would work well if you don't have that. You don't need to run to the store or anything like that. Jarred garlic, which I keep in my fridge, also works wonderfully. Oh, that smells good. Okay. I'm going to get my ham in here. This is a couple cups of leftover ham, but as I said, when we started this whole recipe out, whatever you have, just one of these shanks are so big and wonderful. That's going to work great in here too. So just, in you go, or 2 of these shanks. Let's do that. Let's just do 2 of those shanks, and we'll use the ham for another recipe. And what's going to happen is these are just going to fall off the bone and give this so much flavor. So meaty and wonderful. And then I'm going to throw in some chicken stock. Recipe calls for about 6 cups, which is about 1.5 boxes. So just dump it all in. If you're not doing anything this weekend, I'm going to be at the neatest place. It's called the Manitowoc store. It's in Manitowoc, in the old Kresge building. Come have coffee with me. I'm doing a book signing out there from 9 to 10:30 Saturday morning, and then in the afternoon I'm going to be in Sheboygan. But best coffee at the Manitowoc Coffee Shop. really a neat old building that they put all these great stores in there. I love those downtown shops, those little quaint places. Find all sorts of good stuff. Okay, a little bit of salt and pepper. Real important to season, you know, when you're doing slow cooker recipes. You can also season at the end, but whenever you're doing soups, start with a little at the beginning and then more at the end. Lid goes on, and you're going to let this cook low and slow all day long. You can't really hurry this along. If you are going to you need it in a little bit more of a hurry, turn it up to high. It's still going to take you about 4 hours. I like to, you know, get my pea soup going in the morning in the slow cooker and leave for 8 to 10 hours. Off to work, off to doing the errands, running the kids around, whatever you need to do. Those peas, it's hard to rush them. They really need to cook and get tender. So here's where we get to the end. Bay leaf. Forgot my bay leaf, by the way. Drop that in there. Just gives a little bit of extra flavor. You can fish it out toward the end. All right, so here's my soup. And what I like to do is take a potato masher. Oh, it smells good. So you can see what it looks like now. It's still a little chunky. So I like to take a potato masher and just kind of mash up the peas, mash up a little of the carrots, and even some of that ham just kind of falls apart in here. And this is, you know, one of my biggest ways to relieve stress. Today's show is all about stress-free, is use your slow cooker. Great way to use those leftovers. Make a big batch of soup. As they say, sometimes you're just having one of those nights and, you know, you've got a container of frozen pea soup in the freezer, throw it in the microwave, and you've got a delicious dinner. So this works out really nice. When I do soups, I like to garnish them a little bit. I also like to season at the end, I can tell, just a little more salt and pepper. But I love to do a little bit of sour cream on top of my pea soup. See how just using that potato masher brings the whole thing together at the end? Let me tell you, a loaf of French bread. And you've got everything in here. Wipe off the edge of this bowl. A little dollop of sour cream on top. Maybe some croutons. And I'm a happy camper. Yeah, try the sour cream on top. Promise you, it is yummy. The recipe's on our website. You can also pick it up at any festival.